Hello teacups, what's brewing? So today we're going to be taking a little bit of a look at Sleepless in Canada. You guys, the live stream's an hour and 40 minutes long. My God. I'm going to try and cut it down as much as I can. If she starts talking about things that kind of aren't weight related, aren't really her life related, if she starts chatting with the people in the live chat, things like that, I'll probably cut it out. I don't want this video to be that long. But I'll try and cover everything I feel is relevant to kind of her life and her health that she discusses and her weight, which is sort of my interest in her channel anyway. She hasn't uploaded today. I was planning on just kind of ignoring this live stream and moving on, but she is, or she has been in her community section talking about how she wants to be more healthy and how she felt ill after the last mukbang. I detailed it in my last video, I won't go into it here. But that does sometimes mean a bit of a dearth in content from her because she's not sure how to fill her videos. Because as unfortunate as it is, most of the things in her life revolve around food. And so when she takes them away, it's a little bit empty. I really do wish she would get more of a hobby. She did mention in this live stream, I think, that she likes singing and she'd like to get lessons and things like, I know people make fun of her for stuff like that, but I'd be here for that. I really would. Because at least it would be something separate from food related interests. It would be a way for her to, she doesn't even have to get out for that, but you know, for her to do more and to branch out her interests, and I think that would be really healthy for her. So we're gonna start because I can't tell you how long this is gonna take to edit. I'm gonna react to the whole thing, but then I'll cut it up in post editing, which means I'm gonna watch the whole thing again and cut everything out. Oh, why do I do this to myself, you guys? Tell me. So let's begin.
Hi. Oh God, you all came in at once. I cannot sleep again.
She's done multiple live streams now at like 3, 4 in the morning. On the plus side, she's not naked today.
So how are you guys?
Fine, thanks.
What's going on? I did not have any THC. Hey Joe. How are you?
That would be the first time in a very long time if that's true. She's been high for weeks.
How you doing? You're thinking of getting a coldest. Oh wow. Use my code.
Keep shilling it.
Oh, hi,
I mean, to be fair, they would have. The only reason they're telling her is they'd be like, notice me. The other day, I meant to say with the Karate Joe thing, the other day he came in and he kept telling her, time for bed, time to go, because she said, oh, I want to get off at this time, and then she kind of was hanging around. And she was like, I'll go when I want, Jesus. It was really funny when she gets snappish at him because he gets too pushy and patronizing. It's like, oh, time to sleep. I'm like, you're not my fucking dad. It's always funny when she gets a bit snappy at him because, you know, they're meant to be besties.
Seriously, yeah, it's kind of late. Should try meditating. You have to homeschool. Well, that sounds fun.
It's not.
Good luck. But I know I was so sick earlier from that pizza. I was just like, oh my God.
I'm genuinely not surprised. That pizza, covered in pepperoni, filled with cheese, neither of those things are good for her stomach. And I suspect she didn't stop at those 4 slices, if I'm completely honest. Like, even though she said later, I felt so sick, she's done more than 3 or 4 pieces of pizza before. The only way she'd be sick is if she overate, which for her, as crazy as it seems like 4 pieces is not. So I suspect for her to feel that sick, even with all the cheese she was taking in, I suspect she finished it. So yeah, she probably will feel sick.
I don't like Drake at all.
Me too. Let's be
Try
besties.
reading. I should actually try like putting my phone down. You know? I don't listen. Sometimes I listen.
I love how she says it and then goes on for another hour and a half. Oh, I should put my phone down.
The ASMR. Hi, Mandy.
Please don't do ASMR.
I think talking to you guys makes me tired actually because I start yawning.
Starts yawning and doesn't cover her mouth. It's delightful.
Not really a big hip hop fan anymore, really, honestly.
Anymore? When were you?
You ever feel like...
Can you imagine hip hop Chantal? Aww.
You just like, my teeth are like really close up.
She's rubbing at her teeth like that. Like, honey, if you've got enough to rub off, go brush your teeth.
What? Like, do I have plaque? I just saw, Phyllis.
Just saw Phyllis? She
I
gets so
just
distracted.
went to see Timbit because her limp seems to be gone, which is really good. And she needed to be brushed so bad.
So there are two things about this that concern me on behalf of Timbit. One, her limp seems to be gone. Has no one been checking? Like, surprise, has she been alone that long? I know she lives in Pete's room because they don't want to spread whatever she has to the other cats. But Pete's is in there. Shouldn't they have known this? And second, if she needs brushing for an hour, she's being neglected in grooming. You know, like, don't let her get to that point. She's obviously an old cat. She might need help with her grooming. Like, be kind, man. Also, I really hope that you cleaned yourself really well after that because your cats live in your room. So on one hand, it's nice she went to see her, but none of the things that they did there should have been a surprise, and they kind of sound surprised by it.
We were like brushing her for like, I swear, a straight hour.
A poor cat. Cover your mouth.
Oh my god. So.
She has nothing to say. Oh my god. So.
She liked being brushed. Yeah, she seemed to like it.
I bet she did.
Probably like get this like pound of hair off of me.
How long has she been waiting? My stomach is so loud today, you guys. You might hear it during the recording. I apologize if you do. I'll try and cut around it.
This is my llama. It's like perfect to lay your head on. I just lay in bed like this when I come up to my room.
I'm so relieved I can see a strap right there. However little she's wearing, she is at least wearing something. The last time she did one of these, she was nude. And I was like, that's unnecessary. It doesn't take long to throw a shirt on.
Until I go to bed. I mean, she's not limping, which is good, so. But.
Take her to see the vet.
Oh my god, Dissolve, what the hell happened?
Actually, she has done that.
I notice when I do that, then the next day, the whole day, I'm just like, zombie.
I think she was talking about the THC she takes in the night here. I wish when she's responding to questions, given that she uploaded this as a video, she didn't delete this one, I wish she would read out the questions she's responding to, because that would make for an easier video to follow. You don't have to upload these live streams. She frequently doesn't when it contains something she doesn't want to talk about. But if she's going to, it would be nice to help viewers follow it. So if there are parts here that seem very disjointed, I didn't see this live stream live, and I'm having trouble getting the chat to come up when I try to watch it. So I won't always know what she's talking about, so I can't share that with you.
So I don't want to do it like every single night, you know what I mean? Tomorrow, I'm just gonna try to pick up the pieces and start all over again, you know? Try to stay positive.
I was gonna say start what all over again, because she's been mukbanging. Like, what's she starting again? But I don't know, the way she sounds when she speaks about this now, she said pick up the pieces, start all over again. I mean, she doesn't particularly sound hopeful or committed, but I don't know, she must get as sick of this as we do at some point, and so I can understand why she doesn't think she'll succeed, but at the same time, if you don't think it, who else is going to for you? Like, you're the one who has to put it in.
No, I'm not gonna have any THC, Joe.
Please take a break. You've been doing that a lot.
Make the 800th list of grocery list.
I mean,
for health.
At least if it's a grocery list, it's not juice, which is. I mean, I'm not saying she won't go to it, and I'm hoping the grocery list isn't just like raw fruit. Remember that time when she was fruitarian for a day? Or actually, wasn't fruitarian for a day. She bought all the stuff, and then the next day looked at it and was like, nothing's ripe, and I don't want to. So at this point, making a list for healthy food would be an improvement. And I'd love her either to meal plan or to keep ordering those meals she had and just, again, eating one portion. I know I go on about it. But, you know, if she doesn't want to shop and do the groceries, she could have a meal service. But regular, well-balanced meals, I think, would be the key for her here.
Yeah, well, Rose, I have to just ignore all the noise from online. You know, it's so negative sometimes, and I just have to, you know, keep going. That's all I can do.
I'm gonna leave this in the video for evidence later when she's completely going insane over people. Because she says this a lot. She says, oh, I just have to ignore it. I just have to ignore it. The negativity. I'm actually not that negative about her. I have times when I outright say, hey, you don't make sense right now. You're not doing what you said you would do. But I'm not here for over negativity. But she sees it as the same thing. But frankly, I think you get involved with as much negativity and as much drama as you willingly insert yourself into. And she says again and again, I need to learn to ignore it. And then she doesn't learn. And she has been on a kick this week of going off at reaction channels, particularly on Program Situation. She had another outburst on her community tab. I think it was yesterday. So after this video was posted, but before now. I'll see if I can get a screen grab and put that up for you. But she's like, oh, people make fun of people and they call each other names. And then she'll call reaction channels names on her channel. And she's like, well, it's my channel. I can say that on my channel. And I'm like, well, yeah, you can say what you want on your channel and we can say what we want on our channels. And that's how life works. And she doesn't seem to connect that everything that applies to her in terms of freedom of speech applies to us. And for all that she says, oh, well, we're bullies, she throws a lot of names around as well. So, I don't know, I really do wish she would just learn to ignore it because she'd do better for it.
I think I need to start with I don't even know anymore. I'm just so tired.
I'm assuming she means tired mentally and not because she was just talking about how she's not tired at all. But even that, she hasn't put thought into planning this at all, because I'm guessing there comes a point where you break your diet enough that the thought of planning anyone, knowing that you're likely to fail, is exhausting. And I sympathize with that, genuinely I do. But to be like, I don't even know what to do, which is basically what she's saying here. First, I need to, oh, this is tiring. Yeah, it's gonna be hard. It's going to suck a little bit because you know you've done it before and you know you'll probably do it again. But yeah, you need to at least figure out the first step here.
Thanks, Victoria. A bunch of you guys signed up, which means I get a free box, but I haven't been liking what the menu items are, so I'm waiting for something good to come up.
That's the Freshly, she's not doing Freshly, what's it called? Good Food Canada. I'm a little sad that so many people signed up because she just wanted that money. But I mean, it wasn't a bad choice for her if she could just eat one portion. I'm kind of surprised she's saying, oh, there's no good meals. There were a lot of choices on the website and they all looked pretty good. So I don't know if maybe she just hasn't ordered it because she's eaten so much fast food she hasn't needed to, was probably more accurate. But she should definitely, especially if it's going to be free, she should definitely order that. That would be a good start, even if she didn't want to do it permanently, because I understand it's expensive. But it could be a good transition while she's figuring out how she wants to eat from now on.
I guess I just kind of expect people to just understand what I'm going through. And there's so many people who obviously don't. And then there's so many people who think it's funny, you know.
That is true. I've never sat here and said, well, no one makes fun of you. I think less people make fun of her than she thinks do. I think because she can't tell constructive criticism from any criticism, then the support she gets that's a little bit more no bullshit, like I consider mine to be, she doesn't take as support. But a lot more people know what she's going through than she gives them credit for, and some of them don't, and the people who don't are very, very loud about it. But even the ones who do, understanding what she's going through kind of makes this more frustrating in its own way. So just because I understand what you're going through doesn't mean I agree with how you're going about it, because understanding means when you do something that's against it, when you do something that's going to make things worse, we can see it because we understand it. And obviously everyone has a slightly different experience of going through problems with food and their mentality with food, but we have very similar responses. And just to say, well, no one understands is a very teenage mindset. It's a very, and that's not even to insult teenagers. She does remind me of a teenager in many ways, and that's not to say that teenagers are this stereotypical state of being, but in the way that she doesn't want to listen to anyone else, in the way that she seems to kind of walk around with a chip on her shoulder a lot of times. She doesn't like being told what to do.
Or like make fun of a cycle, or I'm like so sick of that word.
She does have a cycle, and I understand why she's sick of it, because people hold it up to her to be like, look what you're doing, and that's gotta suck. But at the same time, it is what she's doing. So when you see behavior that fits that cycle, in the moment, inside it, whether you realize it or whether you don't, you know, seeing, okay, this is my behavior, it might help. It might help you to recognize and be like, nah, I gotta step back. I thought I was doing something different, but I'm actually showing some hallmarks of behavior that I've done before.
You know what I mean? I mean, that's how it goes. You could cycle 189 million times, and then the 189 whatever the next one.
Millionth and one. But yes, she is right. I mean, every cycle is just repeating. But if she's ever successful, it'll be because she breaks that cycle. So one time, and any of the times to come could be that one time. So, I mean, if she gives up, she never will. So it's kind of better she thinks that way, I think, even if it doesn't necessarily fill me with confidence that she'll do it, because I think there's a lot of other changes she'd need to make to be successful. The only way you can be successful is if you try again. So I can't blame or make fun of her for saying, you know, yes, I recognize a cycle, but I could break it, because she could. The chances are low, but she could.
The next time you could succeed, you know? So, I mean...
You could, I think.
Yeah, a lot of people do Starseeker. It's a lifelong battle. I mean, obesity wouldn't be a growing epidemic if it was easy to do, right?
That is absolutely true. But for that reasoning, that's one of the reasons I get so frustrated with her and her fad diets, like the juice diet she wants to do. We still don't know if she'll do it, but she mentions, like when she goes vegan, like when she goes fruitarian. It's not that any of these things can't work with the right person, but if they work to cure obesity, which is the reason she's doing it, whatever she says about health and whatever she says about anything else, the primary reason is to lose weight. If those things worked, they wouldn't be a secret within the industry. It wouldn't be something, oh, we're selling it to you, don't tell people. Like, the developer of that way of eating, they would have a Nobel Prize, okay? Because obesity is one of the world's top killers. Like, any way that worked to cure obesity would be lauded and would be famous. It's not going to be some $1,000 juice diet.
I can speak French, but I don't feel like it right now.
I can fly, but I don't feel like it right now. Actually, to be fair to her, people go on, oh, she can't speak French. I think she had a lot of French in her school system. She's Canadian, she would do. I think receptive skills always come before productive. So I completely believe that she has some level of understanding in French. And I think she has very simple French phrases, because it's impossible to avoid, and when you're exposed to it that long, you can't help but pick up small things. She was also No, she wasn't married to BB. Try again. Oh, sensitive subject. She was also living with BB, and French is his native language, isn't it? So I can absolutely bet that she has more understanding than she has speaking. I don't think her understanding is that great, but enough to kind of get the gist of something. And like I say, a little bit of speech, not very much, not enough to really hold a conversation. Because when you look at times where she's tried to say things in French and she's had to ask BB for quite simple words, but then certain words she knows, you'd be amazed how easy it is once you know a few things to get the gist of what someone's saying in a conversation in conjunction with like body language and tone and things like that. So I don't think she has nothing. I think she can pull out a sentence or two the same way I can pull out a sentence or two in Japanese. Doesn't mean I can have a Japanese conversation. But it does sound funny when she's like, oh, I can, I just don't want to.
I need to order more Lush bath bombs.
What? Really? Didn't she do a Lush haul not long? I mean, I don't know how many she ordered, but I know it's her money to waste, but with everything going on, I don't think Lush bath bombs are really high up on the list of needs for anyone, you know? Like, really? Do you need more Lush bath bombs? Oh, she covered her mouth. She then picked her eye, but she covered her mouth. Congratulations.
Yeah, I have to just like focus on getting healthier because I can't really do any other content that involves like really, let's say I wanted to take you all downtown and walk around. Like I can't do that physically. So
I genuinely thought she was going to say without involving food, and I was like, bitch, why? But then she said physically, and now I feel a little bit sad for her. But it does tell you kind of the state of how close to immobility she is. And I know we've seen more signs of that, particularly, I say in the last 6 or 7 months, like this year particularly. She really is struggling with her movement more. And that genuinely concerns me. So as much as when she filmed herself walking for that short amount, her breathing was genuinely alarming, I really wish she would do more of that. Like, even if it's only a few minutes sit down, a few minutes sit down. Like, I know not everywhere has a bench, but you can stop for a minute if you need to. But I would give her engagement for that kind of content. Like, it's alarming, especially in the beginning, but anything she can do at this point.
Oh, really, Polly? Mais tu comprends bien le français? Ben oui, je comprends.
It's like, do you understand French? Yes, I understand. For anyone who doesn't speak French, that's what it means. Now, I don't speak French either. I was taught French in high school, which is pretty basic for England. So that's basic French. You know, parlez-vous français? Do you speak French? But I don't think she has much more than that, genuinely. So if she was
I'm probably just gonna have to vlog my day until I can get healthy enough, and when COVID's over, to actually, I would really love to like travel around and show you guys things and.
I would actually love her to do that as well. If like, I'd like her to make it slightly more interesting than when she was just driving in the streets, but going out would help that. She sounds so sad when she's like, I'll just have to vlog my day. I think because she doesn't have anything filling it. There are so many things she could do, but yeah. I mean, she does default, if I'm not eating, I'll do vlogs. But to her, a vlog is go out, film the area, sit down. Now, that, like I said, any movement she does is good movement at this point. So do it, please. Do it, please, for your health. But I think there's a lot more she could do, and she's not necessarily putting too much effort into thinking about it.
Experience life and vlog that would be amazing, you know? I'm capable, honestly, not for very long, Bunny, unfortunately.
It's her walking.
Some places don't have benches. So I gotta get healthy, like I really have to.
Look how sad she looked then. I mean, even on the freeze frame, if you can see it, she said some places don't have benches, and then it's like she had a realization of how that sounded. I'm 36 years old, and if there aren't benches every few meters, I really am limited to what I can do. But that makes me sad for her, genuinely. And what she doesn't realize, because she doesn't stick to it, is how little exercise how just a little exercise makes such a big difference so quickly. Within, I want to say, even a week of doing it every day, it would be easier.
I don't know, I couldn't tell you what makes me, I mean, it's just like, I think this and then the next day I get really hungry and the urge to eat bad stuff. And
why are you letting yourself get really hungry? Have an eating plan, time it out. As much as it'll suck because you won't be going by hunger, so it won't feel as satisfying, but time it out and say, at this time I will eat this thing, and only at this time and only this thing. And like I say, the reward center of your brain probably won't go off, but it will stop you from getting so hungry, and it won't necessarily stop mental cravings, but it will help you to recognize the craving as mental because you're not physically hungry as well. And that will help you.
That always wins, you know. Belinda, I really want to do like a whole Route 66 tour, but I don't know about that anymore. Like, one of the whole big appeals of that is like the roadside attractions / restaurants.
That makes me sad again. Like, Route 66 is quite famous, but there must be other things than kind of diners and food on the way. There must be, otherwise why would it be so famous? I haven't done much research on this, to be completely honest. But that does tie back into the things I've said when she says, I like going on long drives. I just like to drive. It's not the food, it's the drive. And I always said, yes, but you're always eating on that drive, or you're going to eat on that drive. And the thing that makes that fun for you is the food involved in it. And this is exactly what she's confirming here. Like, the appeal of driving is the ability to get food. Cover your mouth.
Well, I had a personal trainer before and I quit that.
Yeah, you did.
It was so hard. Oh my god.
Can I just say, it wasn't so hard. She filmed it once. It was about 10 minutes of her essentially walking around a room. And I'm not saying that, that wasn't appropriate for her fitness level. Her personal trainer clearly saw her and was like, okay, we're going to start slow, be considered to have little but consistent, not realizing exactly what he was getting involved with here. And she paid a lot of money for that gym membership for what were very short sessions. Now, if she had kept going to that, she could have built up those sessions. And I agree that she needs some kind of support in the sense of a professional monitoring her, because I think it would be incredibly easy for her to hurt herself even doing basic short things. But to say, oh, I quit it because it was so hard, she only went like 2 or 3 times, I think. And what she was doing was very, very basic.
Oh, I wanted to die every workout.
Do you remember having a crush on the guy? George, wasn't it?
The trip is not off. Why would it be off? It's like in February.
Oh, getting a little bit peeved there, are we? But yeah, this is the trip to Dominican Republic. Oh, actually, let's see if she says anything else.
Yeah, MZ Cola. I'm so bad at getting organized.
It's February. How organized do you need to be?
I don't even know. That's what I'm saying. I don't even know where to start. Like, I'm going from like a super sedentary,
Oh, sorry. She's back into exercise now.
unorganized kind of life to try to improve my life. And
I think this is part of her problem as well, though, because she's always had an all or nothing mentality. She's either mukbanging and not moving, or she's exercising, she's eating well, she's doing these things, she's taking these vitamins, she's organizing her whole life. And that's why she gets overwhelmed. Like, pick anything and start it now. When I started going to the gym, I wanted like a little bum bag. What are they called in America? Fanny pack. I wanted something just I could clip around so I didn't have to hold, that I could put my keys and my sunglasses in, because I walk to the gym, it's 30 seconds away. And I said, okay, I'll order one. And then I was going to put off going to the gym because I'd ordered it. And I realized, I was like, what am I doing? And I just took my handbag and hung it on a machine. It's not gym stuff at all, but just start something for 10 minutes and work on perfecting it and getting all the equipment, all the things later. Like, you can do that once you've started, but start one thing, because doing that will help you put the other things in place. But you don't have to do everything all at once. It's better not to.
I don't even know.
See, that's why she's exhausted. She gives up before she starts. It's too much.
I'll be alright, big lamb.
Are you sure? Are you really sure you're going to be alright? Because you don't sound like you're going to be alright here.
Yeah, short walks, or just even like taking the stairs more, I find helps.
Question, how does she avoid the stairs? I mean, she's able to take the stairs more. There are 2 flights of stairs in her house. What's she been doing? Oh, clear the boxes. That's what you need to do. Show me your living room. Show me the boxes gone. I demand proof.
You know, and I genuinely don't, every single time I like go back to mukbangs and then go back to wanting to eat healthy. It's like, this is like an internal struggle I have every single day with myself. I don't intentionally do it to troll people or lie, you know?
I believe that. I know people are like, no, she doesn't on purpose, she wants the views. But she's a wreck. Don't get me wrong, you guys, she's a wreck. But it's an extreme version of a very normal process for people who have these kinds of problems, to be going back and forth. Because when you say, I'm going to do this really healthy thing, you genuinely do mean it. And Chantal likes the high of having a new plan. She really does. Because so long as she's got the new plan, she's super hopeful. And she can be like, no, I'm doing this and I have purpose and it's going to be great. And then she falls off because it stops feeling that way once it stops being brand new and shiny, you know? But that's why she changes things up so much.
She
keeps trying to get that feeling back.
I'm going to go back to mukbangs just to piss people off. I don't like that kind of attention. You know, it's just, my sick brain justifies it. It's like, yeah, Rose.
You are attached to that sick brain, so don't take that responsibility away from yourself by saying my brain. It's the same way Amber Lynn says, my body doesn't want to do that. You and your body are linked. Like, you have control over that, even when it feels like maybe you don't.
I don't know how to explain it. Like, it's so crazy. It's like I can't even like trust my own brain. Like, if I could think like how I am right now, clear and regretful all the time, but it's like,
I want you to be clear. I don't want you to be regretful all the time. I don't want you to have to feel like that to prioritize your health. And I know it's easy to say, well, after a while, the reward of being healthier will help to replace that. But she doesn't know because she's never consistent. And it's easy for me to say, well, you just need to be consistent when consistency is the thing she struggles with. But genuinely, once you stay on it long enough to see progress, that progress really helps you to stay motivated. And when you don't feel motivated, the habit of the consistency gets you through.
I don't know. And I know people are sick of hearing it. Hi, big love. But this is like, I have to live this, you know? So it's like, I feel like I want to share the burden. Like, I just want to like be heard. And, you know, I don't know.
She wants to share the burden, but she doesn't want any feedback on that burden at all. Don't you dare.
Become a power lifter.
Could you imagine?
No, T. He doesn't understand food addiction.
Sorry.
Like, at all. It's like a foreign, weird thing for him. So that's probably why I hit it a lot, because when you binge, you already feel so ashamed of yourself, and then to have somebody there who just like, you know, it's, I don't know.
It's interesting how she's admitting to the shame now, but when she binges on camera, she excuses it and she's like, no, and she's very defiant. And she's like, no, I'm doing this, it's my job. And it's all excuses. And it's moments like this that you realize and prove that.
Yeah, Josie, I'm trying to be more patient with people because it really does.
If she hasn't already deleted them, please see her rant about reaction channels. Which I think was because the YouTube Underground uploaded a video. I think it was a response to that, but who knows what triggered her at this point. She does it a lot.
Like, I really try not to let it piss me off in like my new video.
You fail.
Because for somebody who doesn't know what I'm going through inside or what motivates me to do the actions that I do, it's, you know, saying things like you're crazy or whatever. I mean, shaming doesn't help, definitely.
I don't think you should call anyone crazy. I think she definitely has actual psychological issues attached to food, and she definitely needs help with that, which she's not willing to accept. But to call her crazy is unfair.
I just try to ignore it and understand that a lot of people are not going to understand what I'm going through or what
She doesn't. She doesn't ignore it at all.
motivates my actions, you know. So no, like, negativity makes things a lot worse, especially like if you're already feeling ashamed of what you're going through. Shaming somebody, like going, wow, like you should, you know what, it's just like, it doesn't help.
And again, that's true. If you're here just to shame her, that's not going to be productive. But at the same time, she has no problem pulling out all the negativity when she's angry. And so her personality plays a large part in the reception she gets. And if she were more honest, and if she were less defiant, and if she was less prone to outbursts online, she would get a lot more sympathy and support for the fact that she does cycle, for the fact that it is a huge struggle. I mean, guys, I didn't start losing weight until I'd had surgery. I needed surgical intervention for my weight. All right, I'm not better or worse than her. You have as much negativity and as much drama as you willingly insert yourself into or produce. So there are definitely things she could do to help make the situation she finds herself in less toxic.
Favorite grocery store? Probably Farm Boy.
Is Farm Boy, please tell me, is it a particularly fancy grocery store? Is it considered healthier, or is it just one that's close by? Because I know, like, say, Trader Joe's in America is considered kind of a healthier one, or Whole Foods, as opposed to, say, like Walmart. So in England, Waitrose is considered, like, it's more expensive, it's a little bit fancier than some of the other supermarket chains. I'm just wondering.
The good news is that, like, I'm pretty intuitive with some things, with a lot of things. And
like what? Because if there's one thing that you do not strike me as, it's intuitive. I could be wrong, I don't know what you're referring to, but if it's anything to do with food or really generally reading a room, I think you have strengths in your life. I don't think that's one of them.
I feel like I'm gonna succeed at changing.
You feel like it, that's good. That's good. It's good to have that feeling, but what is giving you that feeling? What is different this time? What are you planning to change? What plan are you putting in place? What habit are you looking to form this time that will help you be successful? Because those are the questions you should be asking yourself. Just saying, oh, well, I have a good feeling. There needs to be reason backing that up.
I just know it.
I just know
it.
It doesn't fill me with confidence.
I feel like it's like almost there, you know what I mean?
Almost where? I'm not saying your feeling has to be wrong, but look at what's held you back in previous attempts and tell me what you're changing. Because then I'll be more confident that you're going to try and make an actual change instead of just think about it. because you don't seem to have a plan right now. And yes, it's only been a day, but your lack of a video today also doesn't fill me with confidence.
I'm like really fed up.
I can believe that, for sure.
And I don't like feeling sick like this. Like I don't feel well at all. Okay, this is how crazy it is, okay?
Okay.
I woke up today, started filming my day.
Right.
Like I was gonna make it a health day.
Okay,
So I had oatmeal, blueberry.
When she says a health day, does she mean a what I eat in a day? Because usually when she has a healthy day, she'll blog it.
Berries, like with berries and stuff, and then water.
Can I also say, I've seen that oatmeal she does. She seems to think that sugar from fruit and from maple syrup, as opposed to like processed sugar, is somehow better for her. And it might be slightly less processed. And if it's fruit, like it's going in with fiber, which is helpful to the body and to the processing of sugars. Like if she wanted to eat fresh fruit, I wouldn't be opposed to it. But she's always adding like, oh, I have this coconut sugar, or I have like this special organic sugar. I'm like, it's still sugar. There's no sugar that's good for you. The sugar that's marginally less bad for you, like the sugar in fruit if you're eating whole fruit. That's why juices aren't great for you, but they do have vitamin content, but they aren't great for you, versus whole fruit, which will give you the fiber with it and make it a lot easier to process in terms of spiking your blood sugar, which we discussed in a previous video. So it drives me a bit crazy when she's like oatmeal. I'm like, okay. And then she puts berries and cherries and syrup and I'm like, one, how are you tasting anything? And two, once you've done that, it's not that healthy for you. Are there worse choices? Yes, but you're getting past the point where just saying, well, this could be worse is going to be any benefit to you.
My vitamins and stuff, and like I filmed going up and down the stairs and doing some stretches and stuff. And
good.
Then I was like,
show us that.
You know what? I just like, I don't know what it was. Like I just like, okay, I'm gonna do a mukbang instead.
That does happen. Like you start with good intentions and then you get hungry because you're eating the wrong kind of food, or you leave it too long, or just the panic of being like, oh, no, okay, I'll start tomorrow, sets in. So I'll have one last one. I'll have one last drink. I'll have one last pizza. I'll have one last la. It's not unusual. I dare to say it's even normal for people with these kinds of problems. Like, if not normal, it's widespread with people struggling with these kinds of things. I've certainly done it myself more than once and continue to do it. Even now, I cycle through diets and I'm like, all right, I'll start today. Oh, but I really want to eat. Okay, I'll start tomorrow, but I will start tomorrow. And it's not a surprise, but that's the point where you have to literally tell yourself no, and you might. Your internal child might have a tantrum over that. You get to be angry about it. I've sat and had full out, 37 years old, full out adult sulks about the fact that I can't have XYZ that I was going to eat, because it's just, I can tell if I do it today, I'm going to do the same thing tomorrow, and when it gets to tomorrow afternoon, I'll eat cookies again. And if I don't start, I'll never start. And that is a cycle you will struggle with, and you get to be pissed off about it, but you still need to tell yourself no.
Crazy, it's like,
So we can't call you crazy, but you can say no, it's crazy. I do actually recognize that they're slightly different, but if I'm going to be pedantic,
I have to pick something and just stick to it, like no matter what happens. You have a plan when you want to binge or eat poorly, eat a planned healthy meal. Yeah, honestly, I think just shoving anything in your face when you're hungry or getting a craving does help, because then when you're kind of full, you don't want to eat, you know?
That is absolutely true. If I've been on quite a bad bender when it comes to food, and I want to get back to healthy eating, and I know I have to, and I don't like it, and I'm angry, I'll sometimes transition for a few days and say, okay, these are the foods I should be eating. Yeah, these are the foods I should not be eating. So for, say, a few days or a week, I'll say, all right, I get to eat anytime I have a craving, but I can only eat the foods I'm supposed to eat. And no matter how much I have, whether I lose weight or don't this week, no matter how much I have to stick to these foods. And even if I overeat, like I'll eat, if you want to eat yourself sick, do it, but it'll be on eggs instead of cookies. And I hate that, but it tends to work for me. Like if you can't do it all at once, say, okay, eat as much as you want, but eat it from these foods. And then the next week you can reduce that down a bit and say, okay, we're gonna, or however long, you can say, okay, now that I've managed to take a bit of a step away from these foods, let's look at controlling this intake a bit more.
Oatmeal is so filling. That like I always say, like oatmeal makes like, so if I'm just like comparing, like when I ate my oatmeal with berries, I had so much energy and I felt
That would be the sugar.
good. Like my tummy felt almost soothed. And then when I had the pizza,
I can absolutely believe that even with syrup or whatever she put on it, that her stomach felt a lot better on just oatmeal than it did on pizza. Because it's the fatty foods that really disturb her stomach.
I just wanted to, like, I swear I was so sick. Yeah, don't go grocery shopping hungry.
Yeah, don't do that.
It's like you obsess over the cravings. It's like I don't know how to.
You will obsess over them for a while. Except that life is gonna suck for a few days while you get off the things you're not supposed to be eating. But the longer you're off them, the more the cravings will lessen. What gets me here is she actually doesn't have to go that long. It's just the few days that she does it are gonna suck. And she never gets through more than like a day and a half.